Welcome on in. It's the Down and Dirty. Scott Mitchell, so glad you could join us. Fun show today. We are minus Herman Moore. Don't know where he is today. It's okay. He's off on special assignment. He's actually working for the government. It's a secret. We're not supposed to know. We're actually not even supposed to say that. But he can't talk about it. He's off doing down and dirty stuff for the federal government. But the show goes on. Joining me today, as always on Thursdays, is none other than the zone coach, the man who can help you lock into your brain and get you working for yourself instead of against yourself. And he's been doing it for 50 years with some of the greatest of all time in all sports, in all facets of life. He's my dear friend. Always so happy to have Jim on the show. Jim, welcome to the show. How are you on this beautiful Thursday?
I am down and dirty, ready to roll. It's good to see you. Yeah, there's so much going on.
I know there really is, and I want to get into all of it. So I don't even, I know where I'm going to start. I don't know why I'm going to start here, but could you help me explain Shohei Ohtani to me? Like, to me, he's the most fascinating player in maybe all of sports, just because of his ability to go against the grain. He's a hitter, he's a pitcher, and he's amazingly good at both. And it just doesn't happen in sports today with so much specialization, and you got to be on one side of the ball, or you're either a defender, or you're a pitcher, or you're a hitter, and you can't do both at a high level. And he to me is my favorite player, I think, in all of sports. And we haven't really talked about this, and I want you to explain to me Shohei Ohtani.
Well, first of all, he's extremely disciplined, as a performer. I mean, extreme discipline. But if you look at the picture right now on the screen, he's not only disciplined and can lock in on both sides of the plate. This guy's loose. I'm certain that his breathing is under 10 breaths a minute. There was a situation last night where he was facing Francisco Lindor in the game, and it was a war. It went like 14 pitches, and Lindor was fouling them off. And then Shohei threw, and he'd been throwing breaking balls, and then he just threw it like 99. It was a little off the plate, and Lindor wasn't sitting on that particular pitch, and they both laughed. They were both in that battle, and Ohtani had the smile that you're seeing on the screen. And most athletes can't do that, be relaxed and enjoy the moment. Yeah. And I think that's one of Ohtani's special gifts, that he can do that. So he is a zone performer. I mean, he's throwing 99, 98. He has a split finger that looks like the 98, 99 fastball, and then the bottom drops out. He's got a nasty slider. He's got like 6 pitches, and he uses them whenever. And anyway, that unto itself is amazing. Now, last night, for whatever the reason, he elected not to play offense.
Yeah.
And he had 10 strikeouts, so it sounds like that was probably a good thing. Yeah. And but then on offense, there's not many power leadoff hitters. There are some, obviously, and there have been many that have been like that. But he's not only a great leadoff hitter, he not only can steal when he's on base, but if you make a mistake, he's going to hit it out. So left-handed hitter. Great plate discipline. As I said, he's got pitching discipline, plate discipline. He's managing the moment. And he's one of these unique guys that he's really using both sides of his brain. I mean, he's got the right side, which is very, creative and taps into the zone. And, he's got a feeling he can sit on a pitch because his intuition says it. And then he uses the left side that says, no, stay within my lane and be really disciplined, patience, and all that. So he's a zone performer, if there ever was one.
So it's hard enough to do one. My goodness. I need to find my voice. I need to get in the zone in my voice. it's hard to find one, right? To do one well. I mean, to hit well. I mean, you talk about one of the greatest feats in all of sport. The most challenging thing to do is hit a baseball. But being able to be a dominant pitcher, an effective pitcher, a winning pitcher, in and of itself is no small feat. Can you just tell people like how hard? Because you point out he smiles, he makes it look effortless, he makes it look easy. This is not easy to do this, and yet he does both so well, and it's just so impressive. Can you just explain how freaking hard this actually is?
It's very difficult. Most of us, 8 billion on the planet, all of our thoughts, 2,000 or 3,000 thoughts a day, they're in this big bouillabaisse soup where, you're driving to work and you're thinking about that. And then you think about something else. So you hear something on the radio. So, we bounce around. And so I'm in my baseball, but I have thoughts maybe coming in about the argument I had with my wife. Ohtani, I believe, compartmentalizes what he's doing. So when he's pitching, he's pitching.
Yeah.
But then when you go into the dugout, what does a pitcher do? Typically, between innings, he's running in to look at his possibly what happened and talk to the coach about the next 3 guys coming up. It's real quick. It's not a lot. And he does that. Most guys that are, and if he's hitting, he won't do it as much. But he's compartmentalizing, and I suspect to be I know to be a superstar, life needs to be compartmentalized. So if something goes wrong and on the mound, he doesn't take it into the batter's box. He doesn't drag it in. This compartmentalized is very unique. Most of us don't do it. I believe it's a 1%. It's the epitome of what I've been doing in my half-century career, is helping athletes and executives and everybody compartmentalize your thoughts. This will prevent the proverbial bad day. And Ohtani, he may not have a great day, but you don't see him having a bad day. So the superstar like this is just hitting a high daily standard in everything he does. But again, a starting pitcher has 4 days in between pitches. You can get nuts in those 4 days.
Right.
You can overthink everything. You can get too into the mechanics. You get fixated on, what happened. But Ohtani is compartmentalizing. And so when he's at the plate, he's the best hitter in the world. When he's on the mound, he's the best pitcher in the world. I think that's just how he rolls.
I wonder when you talk about those 4 days and going nuts, if not being able to hit kind of takes your mind off. It's like, I'm a better pitcher because I actually get to go hit in a game, and I have something else to focus on and kind of, ease my mind, or, as you say, you kind of go into a different place, you compartmentalize. And so you're kind of focusing on a different thing, and we'll leave that pitching for another day. But right now, it's about the hitting.
It is. But the other thing he does, the great pitcher and the great hitter, they have routines.
Yeah.
I was in with some Red Sox yesterday in Minnesota. And the thing about the hitter, you can go 0 for 5, but the next game, you got 162 games. Pitching, you don't have near that many on starts. So the hitters are just next, next.
With Shohei, is he an anomaly, or is this something that people go, hey, wait a minute, we might be onto something here? He certainly bucked a trend that's been going on in Major League Baseball. What was the last player that actually was a two-way player? I mean, is it Babe Ruth, right? I mean, I kind of jokingly say that, but I just don't recall anyone like this. And so is it something, because we're sports is copycat, and it's like, are people looking for this, or even players growing up going, hey, wait a minute, everyone told me that I couldn't do both of these, and this guy's doing it. And Is there ever, is this potentially a trend, or is this just kind of a one-off? He's just a freak of nature.
He's a unicorn, in my
Yeah.
opinion. He's been doing this since the Little League. I don't think this is ho-hum for him. This is just how he rolls. But I suspect he can compartmentalize even away from the field, where, you don't really get a sense about his private life. You don't hear a lot of things about it. The gambling thing, okay, that was a big deal, but still it was compartmentalized. So I think he lives in compartments, and he's present wherever he is. And to me, that's the ultimate way to live a life. You're not going to have any negative days.
Yeah. I do. I think that's one of the things for me that I look at him and I just go, man, he just seems like he's having a good time. Like, it's just, he's just a carefree dude, and that just, what a way to live your life. Okay.
I think he stays out of the past a lot. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't think he goes there. Definitely when he's playing.
All right. Moving on, because before we came on the air, you said, I've been spending time with the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Red Sox. Let's start with the Red Sox, only because we're still in baseball. I want to get into basketball. I want to get into the play-in stuff and all that. But so right now, tell me all you can. Give me the down and dirty about what's going on with the Red Sox without divulging, any trade secrets or some of that stuff. But where are the Red Sox in their head today?
They're actually, I'm sure a lot of fans won't believe this, but I believe they're in a great place. I mean, they had their 1 and 2 aces not perform very well against the Twins, and the Twins no one predicted them to do anything. They're in first place right now. The Twins, I watched the game. They're formidable, but you're not going to see their 2 aces give up 10 runs in the first 2 innings. And the other guy, Sonny Gray, gave up, I think, 5 or 6 runs. So, that happens. Crochet, that was the worst game ever. That's an anomaly. That's not going to happen. Those 2 guys are, they're studs at the top of the pitching lineup. The hitters, I'm not concerned about that either. It's early. They could be almost 500 after this weekend, but it's early. It's a long season, and then Alex Cora knows how to manage the mindset of the team, and he's a world expert at doing that. So they'll be fine. Everybody in Boston, I have total confidence in the Red Sox.
A bold statement, a down and dirty statement. They're in last place right now, but that doesn't mean anything. They're in first place in their own minds. Speaking of baseball, I wanted to ask you this question about the Dodgers. Last year, they spent a record amount of money on their payroll, in the tune of about $500 million. They're actually scheduled to spend more than that this year. And of course, they've won the last 2 World Series. Do you like this trend in baseball? Is it healthy for the league, for the sport? Does it make the Dodgers very hateable? Or, if you're a Dodgers fan, what is this massive spending? What's the impact does it have on teams, the league, and all of its fans?
It's kind of like our society right now. There's the haves and the have-nots, and it is the most expensive team. The Mets, when you look at the Mets payroll and the Dodgers payroll, that was a very expensive game last night. That series, it's the best defense money can buy. It's the best offense money it can buy, and arguably, it's just a great pitching staff. And is it good for the game? It's good to see great baseball. I mean, and how the game needs to be played, but it hurts the small. We're St. Louis. Of all the fans in baseball, and I'm not saying I'm a Cardinals fan. I'm from Chicago, so the Cubs fans would be pretty upset with me. But you look at a small market like St. Louis; these are the most knowledgeable fans on the planet. There's a sacrifice fly, and they're doing the wave. So they know the game well. They know the nuances. They cheer their team on, advancing a runner, taking the extra base. I just think the lack of money just hurts these small markets, which we love. You know, I remember all the World Series for the Cardinals. I don't know how you compete with all the money, the small market clubs, the Milwaukee's. It also has formidable teams, St. Louis, and you know there's other small markets. So, yeah, I don't think it's the best. I really don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it just makes me so like I don't know why I get this anxiety, and it's all sports. It's the NFL. It's all of it. It's like, and they are paying out so much freaking money in all of these sports. They're making so much money, and I want to say, probably for maybe over a decade now, I've said, you know, when does it stop? What is there ultimately an impact? Does it ever crash? Does it ever just go, oh my goodness?
Well, first of all, it could, because right now the union for baseball, the owners, they want a cap.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Well, even the players do.
Yeah, if you look at the NFL, what a masterful job. The parity in the NFL,
Right.
you know, it's like, who's the favorite? I don't know. You
Yeah.
know, it depends on who's healthy at the end of the season. But there's no Dodgers, Yankees in the NFL right now. They have that parity, and that makes it exciting. You know, Jacksonville can go up against anybody and compete, and I don't know. I just think that makes every fan think we got a shot, we got a chance. The other small markets in baseball, which is a different power structure ownership wise, you know, how do you compete with the Yankees? How do you compete? You know, they got their own broadcasting, the Yes Network. They're now global. Look at Dodgers. They're Asia, global, Korea, Australia, obviously Japan. And yeah, it's tough to compete with. Whoever has the most money wins. Which
Yeah.